Hello out there, this is your boy Osiklu and you're welcome to today's episode of Trending Realities with OC. On today's episode, basically you're going to be looking at life in general, things that inspire you, things that make you believe more in those particular things that makes you who you are. It starts from where you're born, it starts to places that actually led to what you were thinking that gave you those notions that you'll be able to do what you're doing. And again, it goes a long way to expose realities behind what you are doing. Once again, I welcome you to Trending of Realities, and you're going to be hanging out with one of your veterans that most of you actually know, but for those of you who are just coming up that want to know, I believe you just have to sit back, relax, because as soon as I get back, you're going to be seeing my guest for the day. And I know you're going to enjoy it. Welcome back. It's still your boy Osiklu, and we're still live here on Trending Realities with OC. Like I told you, I'm in the house with a veteran, someone that can inspire you because he has always been a source of inspiration through the whole ages. He has actually been a pillar behind most of the efforts you do see out there. You know, to you out there, all you get to see is the end result. You get to see people jumping up, claiming most of those things you see. But there are always things that have to be put in place just for those things to be what you see. And that is where my senior bros, I choose to call him a senior bros because it's not easy being who he is. Ladies and gentlemen, without taking much of your time, I would like to unveil my guest for today. He goes by the name of Mr. Babatunde Okungbowa. Don't blame my accent, aka OJB Jerzreel. How about you? Welcome.
You try very well, self. You try, Allah. I thought you were going to go somewhere else, but you got your Okungbowa right now.
Okay.
You got it right. You tried.
I thank my stars for the day.
Yes. Sir.
Sir, it's not something that should be a confusing factor to people out there, because to most people who see you out there, they don't really get to know much about OJB, the brand OJB. And I don't mind, sir, if you can shed a little bit light on the brand OJB.
No, we most definitely. It's because you find that people that are in production are usually the guys behind the scene. And it's a natural thing, just like directors and all that. But I guess these days people are getting curious to actually know the foundations of all these things. At the time when we started, like over 20 years ago, people were not concerned about who played these beats, who played the guitar. They were just concerned about the end product. But I think with the level of awareness right now in the world right now, everybody is conscious about every party that is playing their role now. So I think that has helped to, bring out, a lot of us to limelight. For me, it was more of, the name was more out there than even the face itself. And I think for me, I was probably born in an era. That's what I say, born in an era. The OJB thing was born in an era where people were trying to equate Nigerian music with foreign music, and they felt it wasn't possible that it could have been done. And so I guess that was just my own goal, to prove that point that we could actually make beats like that the same way they do it abroad.
Wow. Yeah. Like me, if you ask me, I was a follower of your brand of music. And if I should take my mind back to a couple of years ago, most people were actually thinking, wow, the brand OJB, how was he able to put most of all these things in place? If you look at that era, because the era itself went a long way to prove that most of those things we are using, most of them were archaic.
Yeah.
But for the fact that you were the brain behind those things, we were able to see not just a hit, we are seeing hits upon hits upon hits coming from your stable of production. I don't really know how you were able to Well, that together.
Well, it was an element of surprise. I was with a DJ. I don't want to call his name now. Okay. And he just said that Nigerian music can never ever sound like that, and can hardly. In fact, the chances that we played in the club is completely like zero. Wow. And I was like, okay. So I think from that day, for some reason, I started avoiding him because I felt he was going to just dampen my vision and my my mindset. So, and when I started doing the beats, more of the reason why I actually stayed behind, because there's something I always see that goes on in Africa generally. When people get used to you, and then you show them something good, they keep going like, yeah, whatever it is. But when they don't know it's you, and that's part of the reason why I wasn't too conscious about being a face out there for people to see. Wow. So it worked very well, and even he became a disciple. And he came one day and played the job for me and said, "Oh, this OJB guy too bad." And I started laughing. So one day we had an interview, and he was sitting there, and I was sitting opposite. He said, you so the point was, it was born out of, I think it was just born out of that challenge, that why can't it be done. This is my own theory. My theory is that latest equipment come out every time, maybe every year or every 6 months or whatever it is. But my theory is that they were using that one that you think is archaic at that time, and they were still achieving good sounds. So that should be the challenge, really. So that's where I stand.
Okay. Please just sit back, relax, because we'll be going on a short break now. Once we get back, you get to see more of our guests. We'll be right back.
What I understand by music production is just an act of making music, making good sound and making a song. The lyrics, the composure, the beats, and everything to make a good song. That's just what I understand by music production.
Yeah. What I understand by music production is just the ability to make the good sound, a hit sound, and to get the right lyrics that can catch people's attention. Yeah, that's all I understand about music production.
Music production is the art of combining two or more elements together to make sound, to make good sound. You get sometimes you can put maybe the
music production is a saying of combination of one or two elements to form a sound.
You know, a lot of producers these days, the only thing they do is create hard beat, like heavy beats, because in Nigeria, President.
Welcome back. I'm not gone yet. I told you guys I'll be coming back because my guest is definitely still in the house. And you know we have a lot to really talk about. You understand? So relax, we're going deeper this time. So boss,
yes, sir.
We are back again.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Like when that whole idea of creating that brand, OJB,
yeah,
I believe you were inspired by one or two environments, one or two friends, one or two hangout spots and all that.
Yeah.
I don't really know if you can shed more light on that.
Well, if you check back, you know, in the mid 80s, late 80s, the ideology of the man behind the scene, you know, is completely different from what it is now.
Yeah.
Back then, you know, I mean, producers, you find like the likes of them Quincy Jones, the likes of them, you know, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis. They were just the men behind the scenes making it happen. They were the go-to men to make the beats happen, and that's what it was all about. So it's I just saw it like that. You know, you see those names, like I call them Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, you know, and then you wake up one day and say, oh, JB, you know, that's it. But though, because my initial plan was to be an artist,
Okay.
but my stumbling into production started from trying to get a particular sound, and then the engineers and the live band people, because then was more of live band, and they were like saying, it can't be played, it can't be played, it can't be done. And so I was stubborn about it and saying that no, it can be done. And so they got angry and said, you are just standing at that position telling us go left, go right, go whatever. Oh yeah, now you come and do it yourself if it's that easy. And you know, they left, and so that was how I got into the production thing itself. And then so I just felt, okay, fine. So before I knew it, it started swallowing the part of me, the artist part of it. And then, you know, so the Jerzreel that I wanted to use, which is actually part of my name, you know, started going backward, you know, produced by Jerzreel, wasn't sounding so sexy at all. So it wasn't just working. And so the only way out was, I talked to a friend and he just said, your name is, you know, Babatunde Jerzreel Okungbowa, you know, what if you turn it around, you know, OJB, won't be a bad idea. And it was actually JJ.
Wow.
that did that and said, okay, fine, and we sat down together, and then the name kind of just worked, you know, and it stuck with me like that, OJB, you know, so
wow.
that's it.
That's a long way coming anyway.
Yes, sir.
Well, you still have those people that then you normally like hanging out with, like you must have favorite spots back then, because I believe most people out there, they do see all these spots, they do see all these places.
Yeah.
But I don't think they are actually allowing those places and those hangouts to really put in those ideas into them. Because if your likes were able to draw out inspirations from those places, meaning whosoever is actually looking at those places is supposed to derive the same positive energy from those same places.
Well, I think right now it's different. Back in the days, we had all the like you had what they call it, like floating boats, for example. You had a floating boat where you had the likes of Raskimono back in the days, you know, that was a mighty bros. Then he wasn't an artist, he was just a DJ trying to sell reggae music to people. So you had likes of such places, you had likes of some kind of, you know, places you could just hang out, sit down with friends, have drinks, listen to music, talk about music and all that. But you know, these days it's a different ball game. The inspiration is all on your phone now. So I mean, you can just listen to some idea, listen to something, and start, you know, cooking up your own plans from there. But for us back then, you know, everything was, you know, everything was more open. All these places we could go and sit down now, I'm sure they're like blocks of flats there now, or whatever it is. Open fields, you know, football places. You sit down and everybody's just vibing. So it was a very free flow atmosphere to think and, you know, plan, and that was what it was to be back then. Now those areas don't exist. There are a few of those my friends that are still around again, like, you know, before. And then when I go to meet everybody now, you know, everything has changed, you know.
Definitely.
You find this one saying that I'll hang out later, Joe. Let me take my daughter to school and take my son to. So
Many boys have become men.
Boys have become, in fact, some of them have become serious men, you know. So now only we just do a giddy, they do this kind. So that's basically it, yeah.
As you can see, we're actually going deeper and deeper. And because of that, I won't like you to just be there and keep wondering, what are these people talking about? This is Trending Realities with OC. We must go deep. We must go deep. You understand? The more we go deep. Okay? It's deeper until we get to the bottom of the whole thing. Okay? So just sit back, relax. I would like to go on a different break now. Once I'm back, I'll take you guys on a different journey entirely. So sit back, relax. come back. We'll stay here. We ain't going nowhere until it's done. Okay? Actually, we've been coming since you've been watching and listening to what we've been saying. I believe there's still a lot going on in your mind out there. Most of you, maybe you're still wondering, how come? What led to this? What inspired this? Because I still believe there's a lot for us to talk about. So, Baba, we're not leaving you yet.
We did. We did.
So, Baba, there is something I get to see in the industry, per se. Because we know the industry is wide. We have the movie people, we have the dancers, it's wide.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm focusing on your own field.
Okay.
Okay? Because I get to see most artists, most of them hide behind the fame. Some choose to hide behind the hype. Some choose to hide behind the lies. Some choose to just dwell in reality, like you. Because I know you're a very down-to-earth person. You are on the reality side of life, which makes it more better. And your type is still going to stay longer than what people think. Because reality pays it up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know, how do you get to see this? I don't know if you can break it down for us. How to hide behind the fame, the hype, the lies, and the reality itself.
Well, I think the problem here really is, fame brings a lot of attention towards you. And the attention, begins to create some form of expectation from people. I'll give you an example now, like, all of a sudden, you're the normal guy that would walk in the neighborhood, walk into your house, sleep on your bed and come out. Then all of a sudden you're passing the bus, everybody's pointing fingers that that's who you are. It's not an easy reality to deal with. I'll use a foreign artist for an example. Mary J. Blige, when her song was #1 around the world, she was still staying in the projects. Wow. The projects is, basically like our normal block of flats here and there, and normal ghetto, no semi-upgrade ghetto, now they call them branded ghetto. So, and she couldn't come out of her flats, come out of her apartment easily without her neighbors waiting for her to come out and point and keep asking her questions. So it brings, that's why I said it brings a lot of expectation, because after a while they'll be wondering that your song is going everywhere in the world, why are you still staying here and all that. And sometimes they don't understand that your song might be popular at that moment but might not be giving you returns at that moment. So that is always the issue. So when the returns have not come, people now begin to think that, maybe, when the returns are not coming, you now start trying to live a life like your returns have started coming. Yeah. And then sometimes when you start trying to live that life, you might begin to owe, and it's a crazy balance. We've seen songs that blow like, wow, we heard the song was big and whatever it is, and the artist doesn't even play 1 or 2 shows. We've seen songs that didn't even blow as big, and yet the artist has played 10 shows. Definitely. We've seen different situations. So it's trying to make a balance, because the bottom line is that sometimes you have fans that if you seem not to be happening, you seem to drop in their rating. And sometimes some of these fans are not as faithful as you think they are. You say, who's happening? Oh, it's Paso. Okay, we're with Paso now. Who's happening next? Okay, it's not Paso, it is Don Jazzy. Okay, let's go. Who's happening? That's the way the fans move. So you now find that the battle to maintain your status and all that leads you into, I gotta get a big car, I gotta get a nice house, I gotta do that. And so when you don't seem to have those things, you start, forming that you have them. There's some artists, I won't want to call their names, but have lived lives of like having to stay somewhere, and you go to the house and you're always there, even interviews go on there, cameras, lights, everything is flashing and it's happening. And then you find that, after everything has been said and done, You just hear that maybe, oh, it's maybe one Baba like house that they had to use, or artists that you want to do interviews like this, they have to go rent somewhere.
Definitely.
To make it happen. So so the point is, they now get too used to that make believe. Sometimes it works and makes people believe they are that big, and then they get the money they expect. But sometimes you just make that believe and nothing comes back in return. You know, I believe strongly that artists in this generation, especially in this time, because in our time, I mean, there was nothing. But in this time and era, can actually make such big money. Because right now, the truth of the business is that there are more structures to make it happen for you. Back in the days, just you and your brother or you and your cousin that is moving around as you're doing your hair. It says your manager, is your whatever it is. But right now, you have proper structures. You have managers, you have PR people, you have brand people, you have different people that can work with you on your table, on that pie of 100%, and you guys have a way you share it, and it will work. That's why you can find the success rates of these younger ones seem to be a lot bigger than the era where I was coming from, because these younger ones now have teams, have a broader spectrum of people working with them now.
Definitely.
So the only thing they now need is the endpoint business management for it. If they can have that, then we're good to go.
You know, we cannot even leave you without giving you the good tips of life. What you want to hear to take you to the next level. So, in order not to miss words, I will still go back to our guest because they stay here. Baba, I so much know that most people who are out there, they want to hear you say something like, this is the way forward. By the time you add this A to this B, we will arrive at this C.
Yeah.
And I don't know if, I know, not if I don't know, I know you have A, B that will lead to their C.
Yeah.
But without missing words, I don't know if you can actually.
Well, it's an old saying, but it's real.
Okay.
It says that preparation, yeah,
Okay.
meets opportunity. Okay, it's the joining point that brings about success. Okay. Now the point is, people are more worried about the opportunity than the preparation. And the thing is that, you know, the opportunity is like, you know, if I can wake up, just see one millionaire that just feels my music and, you know, or feels my whatever it is, and, you know, puts in the money. But I think preparation is almost like 70% of it all. Because the truth is, when your preparation is not done, it's like saying when the soup is not done, you know, in the process, the person will spend money and will not be achieving the results he's supposed to achieve. Because the truth is that when they put money on you, you're supposed to light, it's just like saying, this is firewood, and you've put all the things you're supposed to put on it, you've put the kerosene, you've put all those things, and once you light it, immediately you light it, it's supposed to catch fire. Yeah. But the point is, when your preparation is not done, they will notice that it's not catching fire or not catching enough fire. So when you meet with opportunity, that's what happens to a lot of people. That, I mean, I've met artists that while they're on their video shoot, they say, I ran into one madam like that and said, oh, she wants to put down money and do whatever it is. Now, at the end of the day, you find that they're dragging the issue and it's going like a year and nothing has happened, because there's a level of preparation that needs to be there. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not doubting the role of connections, the role of money, the role of all those things, but trust me, you need to be prepared. There's a preparation that you need to have, so that by the time those things begin to surface, it won't be like you're dancing around the clock, you know. It will come together and make that connection. So what I would say is, my own advice to people is that they should not ignore that preparation. Most times people look at it and go like, oh, this person succeeded. Is it not because this and this and that happened? You know, but they keep forgetting, yeah, the person did that, but what about the talent? Yeah. He must have something. Even if he's not a fantastic singer, he must have presence, he must have courage, he must have charisma, there must be something the person has. So preparation is very important as much as opportunity. So
Wow.
that's what I say for them.
Deep.